Hello everyone, welcome back my channel.
Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin's Beverly Hills brawl almost left prominent millionaire dead. Author. Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin got into a barroom brawl in Beverly Hills that nearly left someone dead, and the details remain murky decades later. Author and longtime People magazine contributor Scott Hoover has written a new book, Beverly Hills Noir, Crime, Sin, and Scandal in 90210, that explores some of the most outrageous incidents to occur in the star-studded city. These two guys were at the very top of the entertainment food chain, Hoover told Fox News Digital. They couldn't have been more popular, they couldn't have been more well-paid and more iconic in 1966 when the incident happened. For something like this to throw a monkey wrench into their lives, something as simple as a couple of crosswords and racial epithets thrown around in a bar led to fisticuffs that ultimately threatened their careers should things take a really dark turn, said Hoover. It's a very little explored facet of both men's careers. It hinges on one night in both of their lives that should have been a celebration for Dean's 49th birthday. On the night of June 8, 1966, Sinatra and Martin were at the Polo Lounge alongside Sinatra's bodyguard/pal, Jilly Rizzo, actor Richard Conte, as well as plenty of ladies. Sitting next to them at a booth was Frederick Rand Weissman, a prominent art collector and the former president of Hunt's Food, who was accompanied by businessman Franklin H. Fox. The men were barely sitting for 10 minutes when Weissman grew increasingly annoyed by the rowdy laughter of the celebrity guests. That's when Weissman got up and did something few people dared to do, ask Sinatra and his pals to quiet down. Sinatra claimed that Weissman told him, "You talk too FG loud, and you have a bunch of loudmouthed friends," before using a certain D word and a certain W word that Italian Americans typically object to, Hoover wrote. Some claimed that Weissman also scolded Sinatra for using foul language in front of ladies. Sinatra allegedly responded with an anti-Semitic remark. He later claimed Weissman decked him in his right eye before slipping and falling, breaking the base of a cocktail table as he crashed to the floor. Fox claimed to Sinatra biographer Kitty Kelly that the singer stormed out of the room when things came to blows. According to reports, Fox and a hotel security guard tried to keep the two men apart as Martin pleaded, "Let's get out of here, Frank." That's when Sinatra grabbed one of the booth-side telephones and hurled it at Weissman, knocking him out cold. According to Hoover's book, it's also possible that after everyone lunged at each other, Weissman slipped and fell. What's known for certain is that Weissman had landed on the floor and was flat on his back amid an upturned ashtray, a cast-off tablecloth, and a clutter of broken crystal. It sounded as if he were snoring. And he wasn't getting up. What we know for sure was that Weissman objected to some of the language that was being used by Frank and Dean, and it turned into a typical barroom confrontation, Hoover explained to Fox News Digital. What we don't know exactly is who swung first, who did what to whom in what order. But it ended up with somebody clobbering Frederick Weissman over the head with one of the famous pink telephones that sat boothside on all the banquettes in the Polo Lounge. He ended up unconscious on the floor. Now he revived, but within the day, he was comatose again, Hoover continued. He was in the hospital and then underwent surgery. And it could have been particularly bad. He might have died. That's when Frank and Dean separately left Los Angeles to wait out the news while the police investigated. That's where we get all of these conflicting stories where nobody exactly saw what happened. Nobody gave the same story, Hoover added. According to the book, Weissman endured a nearly 3-hour operation to alleviate a skull fracture. Doctors couldn't guarantee that he would survive. Hoover said Sinatra fled to Los Angeles where he was sweating it out with his much younger girlfriend, actress Mia Farrow. Martin went to Lake Tahoe to play golf. He had nothing to say when he was questioned by police. Frank was 50 at the time, said Hoover. He was grappling a little bit with how huge he was, how iconic he had become, how rumors dogged him. And then he was involved with somebody half his age. So there was a lot of stress on him even though he was on top of the world. And I think that occasionally expressed itself in outbursts. He was an emotional guy. Was he mobbed up? I think there's a lot of debate to be put on that, Hoover shared. Was he a violent character? I don't know if that's true either. But there are certainly incidents that suggest that if he lost his temper, things could go poorly. Over the years, rumors also persisted that it was Rizzo, not Sinatra, who gave Weissman the near-fatal blow by H.